Hello, this is Michael Paul with New Orleans Scottish Rite College. I want to talk today about a subject that may be something of a hot button topic with some or maybe a number of Masons. It's the subject of weapons and lodges. Now, as with so much in today's Masonry, and really the world, we seem to be in a time of great division. You will see individuals on one side of some question who are very passionate in their opinion regarding, well, anything. You will then see others who are equally passionate about a completely opposite position. Both are fixed, unchanging, and determined. Hostile outbursts between the groups are not uncommon. In reading a number of online debates on Masonic forums concerning guns and lodges, I've come to see the strong opinion many have on the subject. Let's look at this situation. The lodge I joined in the mid-1970s happened to have a good number of police officers as members. The worshipful master was a lieutenant on the New Orleans Police Department. Virtually all of the line officers were members of one of the area law enforcement agencies. I remember something that was done almost as a ritual before lodge. Each one of the police officers, and I mean in uniform or not, would remove his gun from its holster, empty the weapon, put the shells in his pocket, so that the gun would not go off when it was not in his control, and then turn the gun over to the tiler. The tiler would place it in a secure box in his care. The tiler would be in charge of all guns until the lodge was over. I once asked them why they did this. I was reminded of our ritual, that nothing offensive or defensive would be brought into the lodge. Our third degree was also often cited. No matter what anyone believes is proper or improper today, this was the practice at that time, and for as long as anyone could remember. But that was then and this is now. Today it is not uncommon to see Masons who are in law enforcement, and many who are not, with weapons openly displayed in entire lodges, and even during degrees. I have on several occasions asked brothers openly wearing weapons during degrees to remove their weapon out of respect for the ceremony. I was met with angry responses. Actually, the ones not in law enforcement seem to give them more hostile responses. I was told that they have permits to carry their guns and that this is their right. I was also told that they do not trust anyone in the lodge with their weapon, loaded or not. Let's try to look at the differing opinions. Those who carry weapons in lodge often cite their concern for personal safety. The idea is that they feel that carrying a weapon increases their odds should they encounter someone with a desire to do them harm. On one online forum, I saw the following post, and I will give you exactly what he wrote. The brother said, "I am in the law enforcement officer and I have been for many years. When I became a Mason, some members of my lodge told me that I could not come to lodge with my weapon. I told them that I wouldn't come to lodge if I couldn't be armed. There are evil men in the world, and I am charged to protect. Additionally, I have had to arrest members of our fraternity, so I could easily run into something inside the lodge as well as out." Okay, let's think about what that brother wrote for a minute. There are a few things I believe we should look at a bit closer. The brother said that he is charged to protect. I would assume that this means all around him as well as himself. But are his police obligations to protect greater or different than those police officers who were members of my mother lodge in the 1970s? Not a single one of them carried a loaded weapon in a tile lodge. If the civic obligations are the same, then could something else have changed? There are two other things that he wrote that caught my attention. He said that he would not come to lodge if he were not allowed to bring his weapon. This makes me think that he has some serious concern for his safety, or that going to lodge is not really that important to him. But what is possibly even more telling is what he wrote next. He said, "I've had to arrest members of our fraternity, so I could easily run into something inside the lodge as well as out." What does he mean by that statement? Does he mean that it is possible that someone he once arrested might have gotten off, be a member of a lodge near him, and might shoot him in his lodge? Or could he mean that if some Masons can commit crimes, then others can as well. So he has to be ready in case anyone attacks him or someone else in that lodge. This brother is either serious or not. He is either correct in his evaluations of Freemasons or he is not. If he is serious, and if he is correct in his evaluation, then this is a horrible contradiction of the professed nature of Freemasonry. We profess to be a moral organization, but what have we allowed ourselves to become? We say to the world that our role is to take good men and make them better. Exactly what do we mean by better? If members seriously and legitimately feel that those who sit in lodge with them might actually take their life, and their concern is great enough that they need to arm themselves before coming to lodge, then maybe we should admit that we have horribly failed in our declared mission. But is his reason for carrying a weapon in lodge the same as others who also believe that they should be armed in lodge? Maybe not. Other Masons who I have spoken to about guns in lodges, as well as comments made on various forums, give other reasons for wishing to be armed in lodge. It's not that these brothers are so worried about members of the lodge attacking them as criminals outside the lodge. Some fear walking from their lodge to their car. Others say that they fear a terrorist or crazed anti-Mason breaking into the lodge and killing the members inside. Let's look at these situations. Crime does exist. People are shot and killed in large cities and small towns all over the country. Mass shootings have taken place in locations we never believed could see such horror. It's not unreasonable for people to have concerns about their safety and take precautions in order to protect themselves. But what I just said is subjective. Exactly what is reasonable and what is unreasonable? How can I know the level of another person's fear for his safety? In my younger years, I studied martial arts. One of the first things that I was taught was street safety. I was taught to always be aware of my surroundings. If you are unaware of what's going on around you, someone can basically walk right up to you and do whatever they want. The second thing that I was taught is that no matter how big and bad you are, there is always someone bigger and badder. Our very best weapon is our brain. When someone carries a gun, it can give them an advantage in certain situations, if they know how to use it. But it will not make them invincible. I was taught, and your mileage may vary, that the most important thing a person can do on the street is to be aware of all around him. If he sees something that feels bad or looks wrong, then he should get away from it. Walk, run, do whatever it takes, but get away. If someone is legally entitled to carry a gun, then the only time that they should pull it, if there is absolutely nothing else they can do, he fears for his life, and he is ready to kill the one threatening him. Anything else can only get him in much more trouble. Another thing that I was taught, and it should really be a no-brainer, is that when out at night and there is a concern for safety, we should walk in a group. Criminals like easy targets. Someone out by themselves is far more attractive target than a group of men. But this is discussing events that could happen when someone leaves a lodge. It's not dealing with anything inside of the lodge. So if someone fears walking from his car to the lodge, then why would he need to carry a weapon inside a tile lodge? Well, I've also heard some answers to that question. I've heard some say that a concern for them is that someone could come into the lodge hall, shoot everyone downstairs, and then come and shoot everyone upstairs in the lodge itself. A gun is felt to be needed in the lodge in the event someone comes into the lodge with the intent of killing members. I can't say that this is impossible. We have all read of someone going into churches, schools, movie theaters, and a good number of other places and just opening fire on whoever was around. It is random killings by a sick person. We have also heard of someone going into a business or other such place with the intent of shooting one person and then shooting others just because they happen to be there. These things have happened. People are losing control and doing all sorts of things. In fact, it is not impossible to think that the guy with the gun in lodge might flip out, pull his gun, and start shooting at everyone in the lodge himself. Could this be the reason why the police officer on the online forum wanted to be armed in lodge? Could he be concerned by some of the ones in lodge who also have weapons and wants his own weapon in case any of them start shooting? It's getting crazy. In my opinion, if someone is concerned about trouble outside of the lodge, then he should walk to his car in a group, or he should retrieve his weapon from the Tyler after the lodge meeting is over and then go to his car. If someone is worried about their safety inside of the lodge from outside attack, then they can lock the outside doors once the lodge starts. They can arm their Tyler or hire private armed security for the lodge. If someone is seriously worried about their safety from members inside of their lodge, then I suggest they find another lodge. That lodge is not a true Masonic lodge. I see no valid reason to carry a loaded weapon in a tile lodge other than, well, this is just what the individual wants to do. I find it extraordinarily inappropriate to openly display a gun in a tile lodge due to the religious, solemn, and educational nature of the lodge. If someone is legally entitled to carry a weapon, and he has enough concern for his safety, and if he must carry a gun, conceal it. No one has to know about it. Have enough respect for the ceremony not to have it in everyone's face. I've seen Masons during degrees carrying large military handguns strapped to their hip and full display during degrees. Just because these Masons are ignorant of the nature and meaning of Masonic initiation does not mean that the nature and meanings do not exist. But this is only my opinion. I am well aware that many others do not share this opinion. It is also my opinion that a lodge should be a place of Masonic education. Yet many lodges only open, read the minutes, pay the bills, and close without a hint of Masonic education taking place. I believe that the entire subject of weapons in lodge and the great division in the members as to if it is proper or improper mirrors the division in Masonry on many subjects. We do see some lodges striving to be centers of Masonic education, and others desiring little more than social club status. How a lodge operates and conducts itself is reflective of how it will deal with the question of weapons in lodges. Of course, some Grand Lodges have entered into the question, and some Grand Lodges have firmly declared that weapons in lodge are prohibited. Other Grand Lodges leave it up to the worshipful master of the lodge, while still others are silent on the question. Regardless of the position of the Grand Lodge, some will continue to wear their gun in lodge out of a feeling that it is their right to do so. I read one comment that may be telling of the attitude many have on this subject. Two Masons belonging to the same Grand Lodge were debating their opinion of the law of their Grand Lodge prohibiting weapons in lodge. One pointed out that their state had a very liberal gun law which allowed them to wear their gun pretty much anywhere they liked, as long as they had the proper state permit. The other Mason pointed out that regardless of the state law, if he violated the Grand Lodge law by wearing a gun, he could face Masonic discipline. The Mason shot back that the state law trumps the Grand Lodge law, and if he faced any Masonic discipline for wearing his gun in lodge, then he would simply sue the Grand Lodge, as he was sure that he would win. Have we become sue happy? If our obligations mean nothing to us, who and what have we become? Our obligations bind us to follow the rules of the Grand Lodge. There are many things that are violations of a Masonic law that show up nowhere in any list of violations of criminal or civil law. This is because we profess to hold ourselves to a higher standard. The ignorance of Masonry displayed by this Mason is mind-boggling. In his Masonic blog, Freemasons for Dummies, my friend Chris Hodem recently gave a wonderfully insightful quote that read, "It is a wretched taste to be gratified with mediocrity when the excellent lies before us." We have before us a profound system of moral education designed to improve us as human beings, but we so often ignore it and treat Freemasonry as a second-rate club. We do whatever we want with it. We've turned an opera into a comedy and pat ourselves on the back when we get a dozen or so members to show up. We are successful. In the end, I believe that regardless of any law, some will do whatever it is that they want to do. They will find every way possible to justify anything that they do or don't do. Yes, I truly believe that we are in a time of great change. There will be some who turn towards the teachings of Freemasonry and some to do whatever they desire Freemasonry to be or not to be. Our lodges will become divided, with some going this way and some going that way. Some lodges on both sides will fail and some will grow. Freemasonry will evolve and maybe split. For whatever it is worth, my opinion is that there is no place for weapons in a tile lodge. Our lodges are sacred places for spiritual and moral growth. I believe that to carry a weapon into a lodge is to disgrace it. If one has a sincere concern about his safety, then lock the doors of the lodge. Hire armed security. Arm the tiler. Walk to and from your car in groups. Carry your weapon from the lodge, leaving it with the tiler while in lodge. Or if your safety concern is great enough and serious enough, stay home. Your life is worth more than a lodge meeting. Ultimately, however, I realize that most will do whatever they wish and are allowed to do. Thank you for watching. I hope this video has been of some value. If you like the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe to us. See you next time.